Alright, so we just got the brand new Mathews V3x out of the box, and we are going to get it set up. So this is going to be kind of a long video. If you want to skip ahead, go for it. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to get this set up and tuned. So a little overview of what we're doing. We're going to set the rest on here. We're going to get the arrow set dead level. We're going to tie our knock points in, tie our D-loop in. Then we're going to go over to the press. We're going to time the cams, time the rest, and then we're going to shoot it through paper and do the tuning process. So again, long video. If you're not an archery nerd, you probably want to turn this off or skip through it. If you are an archery nerd, here's how I set up the brand new V3x. So let's get to it. So first things first, I like to get everything just super duper level. It is always good to be running everything as level as possible all the time. Alright, so first things first, we are going to get the rest installed on here. Never cut near your bowstring. These little felt pads are the worst. We're going to install the rest here. Pretty self-explanatory. I personally like to run the rest a little bit higher than dead through the center of the burger hole. So for me, I really like to run the rest. I like the bottom of the arrow running through the center of the burger hole. And I really take a lot of time getting this like perfectly correct. I'm very anal about having this arrow be perfectly level. So that is what we're going to do right now. Alright, so the bow is in there, and we are going to make sure that the bow is perfectly level, and also that the arrow is running perfectly level, and also I want the bottom of that arrow running through the center of the burger hole. So that is spot on. That is too high. That's pretty perfect right there. Alright, so now we're going to tie some knock points in here. Basically just take a little bit of bowstring wax, get it on here, and then I like to tie the top one first, and these are just a simple double overhand knot. And again, it's important to just take your time and get it cinched down just perfectly on here. This is just a simple double overhand knot. You just go through twice, hence double overhand knot, and tie them back on themselves. But you want to take your time and make sure that they're stacking perfectly on top of one another, not jumping around. Alrighty. Just make sure that she stays level. Alright, so now we're going to burn these and then verify that they are in the right spot. Alright. Alright, we got knock points tied. We got our D-loop tied. We've made sure that the arrow is running dead level, like super dead level. And we got the bottom of the arrow running through the center of the burger hole. So that's perfect. Now we're going to time the cams, put it on the draw board, and get her shooting bullet holes. Alright, so now we're going to throw this on the draw board and make sure that these suckers are timed correctly. When I'm drawing the bow, I like to put a old knock in there because it prevents the knock points from collapsing down onto the knock and creating knock pinch, which is the pretty much exact reason that you want to use knock points. So I just like to put an old knock in there and it works pretty well. Something else that's important to note when you're drawing these with these lower grips or grips that aren't directly in the center, when you have a draw board like I'm running, it's gonna make the bow not sit level, which is going to add like a false reading on your cam timing. So you need to make sure that your bow is, your riser is vertically plumb. Okay, that's spot on there. You can see that both those are hitting at exactly the same time. That's what's up. That's what we want. We are good to go. In the event that those weren't hitting at the same time, we would add a twist or take a twist out of the control cable based on what we wanted. And the way that you know if you want to take a twist out or put a twist in is based on your ATA. So if you want the ATA to go shorter, which will make your draw weight a little heavier, then you're gonna and make your ATA shorter, you put a twist in. If it needs to go out, then you're gonna do the opposite. So that is spot on. And now we need to time our rest. Alright, so I like to tie my rest in about an inch below the grip. Coincidentally, that happens to be right about where the string stop is here. So that works out really well to always have a reference point to make sure this hasn't moved at all. So I'll just tie this in with a couple half hitches and then serve it right at that level. Alright, so we've got our cams timed, and now we've got our rest timed, and we've got it tied in exactly in line with our string stop. So we know if it moves at all, it'll be very obvious to us. The way that we timed it is you just tie in a little bit of serving, put it in the draw board, draw it back, and then adjust the cable so that when you're 1 inch away from full draw, it's rising up. If you want to watch a more detailed video for that, we'll link that somewhere here in the screen. We've already done a video on that. So now let's shoot this baby through paper and make sure she's rocking and rolling. So we have identical slight right tears. So what we're going to do is we are going to change the top hats on this bow. The reason that we're not going to mess with the rest or anything is we know that it's already at 13/16, so it's at the perfect center shot. So all we need to do is adjust up here on the cams and we'll be good to go. So in order to change the top hats, it's really, really simple. You just take out the little button head screw there, drop your Allen keys. Then we're going to push this axle out. So I like to just take a long Allen wrench that's the exact size as the actual axle itself and pop it out of there. So once that's out, I just like to take this and rest it. I have a little gear tie that I use. Then we pop these out. And the way that you know which top hat system you're running is by the markings on the top hat themselves. So you'll see that there's a single and a double, and they're in the same spot. It's important to make sure that you're running them in the same spot. There's either one towards the tip, one in the middle, or one in the end. So we're going to go to the one that has a little tighter rim on it, we're going to move the cam in the direction of the tear. So we're moving it towards the right since we have a right tear. It's important when you're tightening these back down to not over tighten them. You don't want to pinch the limbs down and create friction on the cam. Just get it to where it's nice and tight, but the cam can still move freely. That's important. Alright, our last step inside here is to shoot a fletch chaff through paper at about 15 yards. That's all I have here in my man cave. So let's see what this does. Alright, so pretty simple tuning the V3X here. We got everything set up, had the arrow running level, tied in our knock points, tied in the D-loop, timed the cams, timed the rest, shot it through paper. We did shim the cams, and it's good to go. So I'm going to continue sighting this in, and after about like 250, 300 shots on the bow, I always just shoot it again through paper and verify that everything is correct. Sometimes the strings will settle a little, and that's when I put like the final tune on it. But overall, this is good to go. We'll get her sighted in and get ready to hunt. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment below.